This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. Paramedics across the state have kicked off mass industrial action, saying they are overworked and underpaid. Ambulance staff will join thousands of public sector workers protesting the government's 2% wages cap, which they today labelled as insulting.
Now a regular sight outside our hospitals, ambulances forced to wait with patients as demand outstrips supply.
Without being a scaremonger, yeah, there are absolutely days that the community should be worried about the ambulance service's ability to respond to them. Absolutely.
2 years ago, staff wrote these slogans on ambulances. It left the government fuming and seeking legal advice. This week, paramedics will repeat the action, calling for better pay and conditions.
We have people working ridiculous lengths of shifts just simply to cope with ramping. We've seen up to 20 hours in certain circumstances.
That stress accumulates and that stress builds and that stress is damaging.
While ambulance response times have decreased, the union says it needs at least 100 more paramedics just to keep up with demand. Also, staff will now start claiming all allowances and taking meal breaks, joining thousands of public sector staff in mass protests against the government's 2% wages cap.
The old busy is now the new normal, and we're getting these massive peaks in demand as well that are just not going away.
But the Treasurer is not backing down.
We believe that the wage policy of 6% over 3 years is very fair, it's reasonable, but importantly, it's affordable.
The government need to stop, take a step back and start listening to their workforce. Sit down at the table, negotiate in good faith and show that they value public sector workers.
The action comes as the Royal Hobart Hospital is operating at its highest escalation level again tonight, meaning delivery of safe patient care is severely compromised. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
We have breaking news now on multiple helicopter rescues. An elderly man has been airlifted to hospital in Hobart after falling from a height at Coles Bay at around 2:30 this afternoon. The Westpac rescue helicopter transported the man from the wharf to the Royal Hobart Hospital, where he will be treated for significant injuries. Another rescue helicopter was deployed to Mount Amos in the Freycinet National Park at around 3:30 to rescue a walker suffering from a medical condition. The Tasmania Fire Service is continuing to battle a large bushfire burning southwest of Swansea. An aircraft is assisting the operation and tanker crews are working on boundaries to target fire hotspots. While weather conditions have eased, the terrain is said to be extremely difficult. The cause of the 575-hectare blaze is under investigation. Tasmania's specialist police divers are honing their skills in a week of training exercises. They need to prepare for a wide range of scenarios, including underwater rescues and searches.
Donning some serious-looking diving gear, these members of the police dive squad are getting ready to descend into the Derwent.
Air on diver 2.
Today, a practice mission to help them maintain their skills with surface-supplied breathing apparatus.
We rarely use that equipment, however we have to be trained in it for when we do need to penetrate vessels that may be on the bottom or there's a risk of entrapment or entanglement for the diver.
Down in the water, they can still communicate with operators on the surface.
Driver 1 to surface, I'm getting a thumbs up from 2.
These skills can be used for a wide range of scenarios.
The investigators may ask the divers to come and look for evidence in relation to that crime. Missing persons, where we're looking for obviously a missing person from a tragedy.
Back on land, the squad relishing the chance to familiarise themselves with their equipment.
If we don't do it in a controlled situation and we get into trouble, we're sort of swinging a bit, so the more practice you can get where you can control what you're doing, the better you're going to be if it actually happens in real life.
Michael Green, Southern Cross News.
Police are ramping up for a busy day of Melbourne Cubs celebrations expected tomorrow. Authorities say more officers will be on patrol in entertainment precincts across the state and they'll be conducting large-scale breath testing operations.
So we're urging everybody to absolutely go out and have a great time and enjoy themselves with their friends, but be responsible, don't drink and drive.
Police warn they'll be on the lookout for people illegally drinking in public places. 15,000 small wooden boats have been placed on Parliament lawns for an art installation marking the centenary of ANZAC, each one representing a Tasmanian who served in World War I. They're painted and shaped like a Gallipoli lifeboat and arranged in the pattern of waves landing on the shore.
Each of these sticks is symbolising the Gallipoli lifeboat, a boat of peace, and they're all unique. It's made from eucalyptus wood. They are by nature all individually unique, symbolising the unique Tasmanians that served.
The installation, titled Shorelines, will be placed until Friday. For almost 40 years, the Tasmanian Craft Fair has captured the unique talents of some of the state's best artisans. But this year, those behind the evolving four-day festival say the use of social media and a few unusual additions helped attract a new kind of crowd.
On the final day of the largest working craft fair in the Southern Hemisphere, old favourites and new additions were equally pleased to have taken part.
Great, yeah, it's really good fun. I love doing it every year.
We look to be involved next year and the year after.
Yeah, for sure.
And while cutting up cars may not be considered craft, the fair's ability to reach thousands is why many make the effort.
So we're here just to make people more aware of who we are and what we do. I've had people come today actually and say that they have been cut out of a car before, so you know, to get those people come in and look at our gear and see how it works is great.
$15,000 from the volunteer-run fair also provided the SES a new battery-operated Jaws of Life.
Each year we try to do something different. We need to reinvent the fair every year to keep people coming along. Plus also we look at the future.
From green thumbs to tasty treats, around 20,000 people toured the fair's 8 venues, with many of the 260 stallholders driving miles to join in.
We come from Rosebery and it's been great. It's been really worthwhile coming. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Made a lot of kids smiling, a lot of kids very happy. Probably made mum and dad's not so happy, but anyway.
This year, social media also helped to increase international interest.
That's a way that we can reach out to interstate Australia, internationally. We found that we're getting a lot of comments out of Europe, for example.
Cambodian craftsmen were among the artists creating masterpieces.
It's not only to show our product, I come here also to learn what the other artisans in Tasmania do.
As others opted to try their luck, casting a line alongside the world's best.
Just giving people the confidence to pick up a rod. I mean, when they look at it, it looks daunting, but once you pick one up and start and get a bit of tuition, it actually gets easier and easier and easier.
The interest in this demonstration here has certainly been boosted by the fact that next year Tasmania will, for the first time in 30 years, host the World Fly Fishing Championships.
With the 2018 event boasting so many new additions, the long weekend bonanza really is becoming a celebration of not just Tasmanian craft, but its culture.
The response has been fantastic.
Jessie Gilmore, Southern Cross News.
A third-year University of Tasmania student is preparing to jet off to London after winning the prestigious D and MV Macdonald Scholarship. Alexandra Legg will be mentored by some of the world's most experienced cello players and attend musical events across the United Kingdom.
It's going to really push me really hard. It's going to be an intense time, but it's going to strengthen me and give me so many connections over there. That's just unbelievable, really.
Alexandra has been playing the cello for 15 years and will spend 10 weeks studying in London. It might belong to the history books, but a handful of Tasmanians are trying to keep the spirit of steam power alive. A 3-day gathering paying homage to the humble machines today wrapped up in the state's north.
It's a dying art left in the hands of just a skilled few. But steam power still holds an intoxicating lure for many Tasmanians.
For me, it's the sight, the smell, the whole engagement, the sense of history.
There's still some practical use for these old workhorses.
If we had fuel crises and things like that, we could very easily go back to steam power. As one of the old enginemen said, if we've got water and we've got wood, we can go.
Getting the machines to shine again is a labour of love.
Just want to get sick of things at home, come down, spend a day on the engine, come here in the dark, go home in the dark, and that's a good day to me.
It's been 31 years since the Steamup event first started. Rain this weekend meant only modest crowds ventured into the Westbury Museum. And as always, the lingering question remains: who will oil these machines for future generations?
Why should you get into it? It's a dying art. It's an art that's gone, but the power of it, the smell, just the sheer nature of around being the steam and the era of the time.
It's not an extreme sports. It's the sort of thing you can sort of work around, then sit back and have a cup of coffee with.
Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed lower following a weak lead from Wall Street, with energy and healthcare stocks remaining in the red. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 31.1 points, and just a short time ago the Australian dollar was trading at 71.88 US cents and 81.41 Japanese yen. Honours have been shared on day one of the Sheffield Shield clash between Tasmania and New South Wales at the SCG. The Blues finished the day 5 for 285, the Tigers fighting back after a slow start.
New South Wales won the toss and batted on what looked like a good pitch. Daniel Hughes and Curtis Patterson rode their luck at times, but saw the Blues safely to lunch 1 for 66. After the break, both batsmen went on the attack, punishing anything short before Riley Meredith struck. Patterson caught slashing in the gully.
Cuts it straight to the man at gully and he's gone.
Hughes then fell shortly after. LBW to Jackson Bird for a well-made 78. The Tigers suddenly had the momentum, and when Enrique skied one off by Webster to Silk at mid-on, they were back in the game. Returning from national duties, Tim Payne caught Peter Neville off the bowling of Bird. That brought Jack Edwards to the crease, and he was quick to show off why he's considered one of the best young players in the country. After retaining his spot in the team, Matthew Wade was brought on to bowl some late overs in the absence of specialist spinner Clive Rose. Edwards cruised to 50, Sanger finishing unbeaten on 70. The Tigers will be looking for early wickets heading into day two. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
Good evening. 23 was the state's high today, recorded at Hobart and Ouse. Launceston 16, Burnie and Devonport both 15 degrees. Grove reached 22 today, 21 for Flinders Island and Friendly Beaches. Maria Island 20, 19 at St Helens, King Island 18 and 16 degrees at Smithton. Lyweenie and Lowhead had a high of 14 today. High-level cloud is seen here over the state, although there is less about the southeast coast. A cloud band extends from the Kimberley region to the east of Tasmania, and that is due to an infeed of moisture from the north. Some embedded thunderstorms can be seen over central Australia within this band. A lower level cloud band is extending over the far southwest of Western Australia and is associated with a cold front. Tomorrow, a cold front approaches Tasmania throughout the day and crosses during the afternoon. Surface troughs continue to dominate the weather over most of the Australian continent. West to northwesterly winds, mostly 10 to 20 knots, increasing to 15 to 25 knots during the day, 30 knots in the west. Seas 1 to 2 metres, building to 3 metres in the west. A strong wind warning and a small craft wind alert are current for the southwest lakes. Tomorrow, showers about the south, Hobart 19, 16 for Adventure Bay and Tarraleah 15. Showers also for the north, Launceston expecting 20 degrees, Devonport 17, 18 at Bridport. The showers continue in the west, 16 degrees for Burnie, Strawn and Marrawar. It looks like those showers extend across much of the state, with the east coast also expecting showers tomorrow, 21 in St Helens and Swansea, 19 at Whitemark with a possible storm. The UV is 8s right across the state tomorrow, which is high. Looking ahead to Wednesday, showers about the west extending statewide for parts of the afternoon, snow falling in the west and south down to 700 metres. Thursday, showers continue about the west and far south, fine about the east coast, and Friday, showers in the west and north extending statewide in the afternoon. Showers extend across most of the mainland tomorrow, apart from sunny conditions in Broome, Brisbane, Perth and Cairns. And currently it's 19 and mostly cloudy in Hobart, Launceston 15 and cloudy, Devonport 14 and cloudy, and a few showers about tomorrow, Jo.
It looks that way, doesn't it? Thanks so much for that, Carmen. That's all from the news team for now. Thanks for your company. We'll see you a little later. Bye-bye.